Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us at the seventh annual opening celebration for Latin American History Month here at the TDSB. My name is Jerry Florendo, and I will be your MC this afternoon, and I'm a student at Riverdale Collegiate Institute. We are very happy to be here today with you celebrating Latin American History Month. We also want to acknowledge that this month is also Sikh Heritage Month here at TSB, and want to highlight those within our community, Sikh Latinx, who are celebrating both. We also want to recognize that we are also in the month of Ramadan. Ramadan Mubarak to all those who are celebrating. And we also want to uplift Muslim Latinx across all differences within our communities and wish all who observe a blessed month, a time of self-reflection and increased connection to all creation and your creator. Since its creation of Latin American History Month Volunteer Planning Committee in 2016, the membership, who is comprised of educators, community organizers, parents, and TDSB staff and alumni, continues to ensure that we are reflective of all intersectional differences within our communities of Latin American, Abya Yala, and its diaspora, including those right here in the TDSB. The theme of this year's celebration is decolonizing Latin American Heritage Month and beyond, learning about our collective past through the art of healing. This theme focusing on the transformative power found within our community's art in all of its forms, and recognizing the act and process of healing as art to support our multiple communities through their own and collective healing process from past, intergenerational, and present trauma and experiences toward a space of joy. We now invite Maria Montejo to do a land acknowledgement and share her emotion-filled words to commence this celebration of healing. Thank you.
Hanik chinti hoshlit heya manilhan oshinikul neheyeyi autolohom itzat impian ashaklahin an ushantiosh tetsan makomi choch tetsan makomi itzakan ushantiosh pishan noak ushantiosh ishmukane ushantiosh ishpiakok ushantiosh tepeo ushantiosh kukumat ushantiosh balum kana ushantiosh balum imosh ushantiosh paiwinah ushantiosh mamichnam ushantiosh miichnam ushantiosh ahau kanheb ushantiosh ahau. So I'd like to first extend my sincerest of greetings to each and every one of you who are tuning in at this time. I'm so incredibly grateful for your presence and for your willingness to come and join us this afternoon. I also want to extend my sincerest of gratitude to the organizers of this event and to Jared for opening us up with some good words, and say thank you for inviting me to share some words with you related to our history, to our healing, and a path forward for us. And so I purposely chose to speak in my traditional language to begin our conversation today. And one of the things I was raised with was to offer our medicine or tobacco before we do anything. So this morning, I offered some tobacco for all of us, and I extended my gratitude and my greetings to the natural world and every single part of creation, giving thanks that we get to be here, that we are alive, and that we have life moving through us, and that we're able to gather once again. And so when I spoke in my traditional language, I did so because our traditional languages are incredibly special. They're incredibly sacred. And when we talk in our language, and if you listen closely, you're going to hear the sounds of our natural world, of our environment, of our traditional land base. And so when we talk, there's a frequency or a vibration that the languages have. And that frequency allows us to communicate and establish a relationship to the environment and the natural world. And that relationship is incredibly essential to our well-being. It's incredibly essential to maintaining balance within inside of ourselves. And of course, as a result, being in harmony with the natural world. And therefore, all life gets to flourish. And so for a long time, for well over 500 years, there was something that occurred called colonization. And some people like to use the word conquest. But what happened was that a foreign language and a foreign way of life through violence and oppression was imposed on our traditional territories. And a foreign language, many languages, Spanish, Portuguese, and English, were imposed on our people. And this was done intentionally for the purpose of erasing the attempt to erase indigenous people, both physically through genocide or cultural genocide. And when that was impossible, the attempt to force us to assimilate. But the idea is for us to disappear. And every time that the young people pick up the language or speak the language, we remind the world and we take up our space and we say, it didn't work. It didn't work, and we're still very much here, and we're still very much alive. And it's an honor to be able to pick up the sacred bundles that our grandparents left for us, our dances, our songs, our rhythms, our medicines, our prayers, our items, and our language. And we do that to demonstrate a continuance in the link, in the connection. And we do that to then offer it to the generations, to the beings that are yet to come, the ancestors that are yet to be born. And I wanted to share that with you as an understanding that we are very much still here, and we take great joy in ensuring that our distinct identity is still very much alive. In the words that I spoke, I acknowledge the ancestors, my ancestors from the beginning of my people's time, and their names are written on the screen. So this, what you're seeing here is the name of Balum Kana and Balum Kan Imosh, the first grandmother and first grandfather that brought my people into being, my community into being. And so I acknowledged all of the ancestors, including your ancestors as well. I also acknowledge the spirit of the land of my people, of Shahla, where I come from. And I acknowledged all of the natural world in my territory. And I also extended my gratitude and my greetings to the spirit of Turtle Island. And I acknowledge the land that I now call home, which is Toronto or Toronto. And it's the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee people, the people of the Longhouse, the Six Nations Confederacy, and also the Anishinaabe Three Fires Confederacy, of which the Mississaugas of the Credit River are also a part of, as well as the Huron and Wendat people, as well as many other indigenous peoples that have come here. And this has always been a place in which many people come together. And so I acknowledge the natural world as well. And so my name is Atlahom Itzat. It was given to me by my father, and it describes my essence or my spirit or my true nature, the force of creation that I am that comes to impact this world. And the first part, Atlahom, refers to the little tiny bird found in my territory that's known to travel to the top of the tallest tree and sings these songs. And Itzat is referring to the good mind or the spiritual intelligence that this little bird is connected to. It's just a very creative way for my parents to tell me that I like to talk a lot. But for my people, my purpose on this planet is to be an abishlom, which means to be the speaker, the messenger. I bring messages for the people, or an anhlom, which means I also work to help people heal. I help people to transform their experiences in their life. And I come from the Maya Popti people, and I'm also part of the Deer clan. I wanted to share a picture with you at the request to talk a little bit about healing and about the land and about our history. So I was invited to travel to what is known today as Arizona. And traditional teachers and elders were getting together and for a week-long event. And I was invited and I attended. And on my way from Tucson to Phoenix to catch my flight back to Toronto, I was so overcome with joy and so thankful for everything I witnessed and experienced. And I wanted to give thanks to the Odaham people and their land, the spirit of their land, for having held me for a week. So I pulled over and I went for a 2-hour hike, and I took my shaker and I took my tobacco. And then I came on top of a mountain and I offered my tobacco and I sang the grandparents song. And when I looked up, I looked at the mountain surrounding me, and there was all of these incredible faces, and it just brought tears to me. I just broke down crying to see those ancestors. And so when I was able to allow my body to reach that peaceful state, I offered some more tobacco and asked if I could share this picture with everyone, because there's an important teaching here. And so the picture you're seeing is the one that I took. And so there is an ancestor that's visible in this picture. And when I show the elders here, they often cry just seeing it without explanation, because they know what I'm referring to. But in case you're having a hard time, here's the face kind of narrowed down for you, and it's looking up at the sky world. And so I wanted to share this with you because we hear a lot about land acknowledgements. We hear a lot about land back or indigenous sovereignty or our connection to creation. But oftentimes people just equate it with us having been here for a very long time. But the reality is the land itself is our ancestors. There's a spirit of the land. And wherever you go in this world, indigenous people will be able to tell you who they are in relationship to the land and who the ancestors are in their traditional territory, and more importantly, how to relate to the spirit of the land. And so when we talk about land back and indigenous sovereignty, we're talking about something much deeper, much more profound. And with the coming of our European relatives, there was an interruption and interference in this very sacred relationship. And my job, my purpose in this life is to help people understand that when that occurs, it has a profound effect on who we are as human beings and our overall well-being. You can't do something like that without it having an effect on the people. And so many of you may hear that the land is referred to as Turtle Island. Many people might have heard that the North America is considered Turtle Island. My people also talk about the turtle in reference to the land. And so that's because a lot of our creation stories talk about a turtle coming from the water. And I wanted to share that with you because I wanted to remind all of you of this story in order to make a connection to what happens in history does have an effect on us as human beings. So if we look at the back of a turtle, you're going to see in the center of a turtle 13 squares. And these 13 squares represent one of the full moons. And around on the edge, you're going to see 20 to 28 squares. So that's one full moon every 20 to 28 days, 13 times a year. That's the lunar cycle. It's also the central cycle of our mother, the earth, in relationship to grandmother moon. But it also is our internal cycle as human beings. So if you look at the picture here of this little skeleton, this human skeleton, and you look at the burgundy dots, you're going to see those 13 moons represented in your body. And they're the major joints or pulse areas in the body that allow you to engage with your environment and the physical world around you. And I wanted to show you this as one example that to understand the natural world, to understand the land, and to have a profound relationship with the land also means that you have a profound relationship with yourself. And when that's interrupted, all of us are moving from a disconnected place. And a lot of us have been educated to think our way through life. And that's only engaging one aspect of who we are or one aspect of how we learn. And one of the most beautiful things you'll see from some of our other speakers today is how they connect and how they express themselves and how they heal themselves using rhythm, using sound in their bodies and vibration in the land. And so we have to begin to realize that what happened to the land and the people is still impacting us today and impacting our overall connection to ourselves. If you noticed the beautiful flyer that was made for this event, you're going to see 3 birds on that flyer. And they're talking about this prophecy called the eagle and the condor prophecy. This idea that the eagle of the north and the condor of the south, they used to be one. They used to see themselves as relatives. And that's similar to many stories that I've had the honor of hearing about how we're all related as one people, as indigenous people on this continent and the Caribbean. We were once one, and we understood and saw each other. But through colonization and all of these borders, it created a separation. And so you're also going to see on the flyer this beautiful bird that you see on the screen called the quetzal. In my language, we call it no kuk. And this bird is considered one of the most sacred birds of our territory of Central America. And the center connects the north and the south. So this bird also plays an important role in the prophecy. And this bird, if you know anything about it, they tell us, our grandparents, that this bird represents freedom of spirit, because this bird, if you ever capture it, it goes into deep depression, it goes into deep sadness, and it often dies. So it's a symbol of the desire within our hearts, the desire of the human spirit and the desire of the spirit of the land to be free, to be imaginative, to be expressive and authentic and creative. We want to be free. But when that colonization occurred, it impacted us and it separated us. And it actually began to cause us to feel as if we're caged in. So this prophecy is telling us that the truth of what happened to our people, the truth of history, is all coming to the surface now for us to be able to deal with, so that we can release it and allow our spirits, our true selves, to be free. And so you're going to see that a lot in the next couple of years, people beginning to ask deeper questions as to who they are and what their purpose here on this beautiful planet, our mother, the earth. When you look at the term colonization, when you actually look at that term, it means to inhabit. And it's really important because as humans, we tend to want to see history as happening a long time ago, or history is over there outside of ourselves, or we only engage with it from our mind as information or data. But we have to begin to realize that history is actually inside of us. It's inhabited, it's put inside of us, and it becomes part of us. And this is also very important to understanding, well, then how do I heal? Because it is having an effect on us. A lot of us have had values and attitudes and beliefs passed down to us from one generation to the next. So a lot of us have had things that have been passed down throughout history. They become part of us. And if there's young people listening to me right now, the younger generation, there's a lot of things that you're experiencing. And sometimes it might feel like you don't understand why it's so heavy, or why you feel a certain way. And that's because it might be coming from your lineage. It might be coming from your mom or dad or your parents or your grandparents, and it might be passing down to you, but it comes to you to be resolved or reconciled. So don't worry if you don't always understand why certain things are happening, but you do have to have the courage, because you're the generation that's going to decide what continues and what stops right now. And a lot of you have all of these incredible visions of what's possible for yourself in this world, but we also have to deal with what needs to be released. So when you don't want to repeat history, or when you need to reconcile history, you have to be willing to become self-aware, because history is inside of us. It's inhabited inside of us. Here's a chart that's created by Real School, and it helps us teach people a little bit about feelings that are stored inside of our body. We call feelings energy, but you can give them different names. And of course, we inherit beautiful things from our ancestors. There's music, arts, beautiful, wonderful traditions. But those are not the ones we struggle with. We struggle with the heavier or denser experiences, the harder ones. And so here are some examples of some of the deep, heavy energies that are inside of our body. Some of them are from our own experiences, and some of them come from our ancestors. And so to give you one example, when colonization happened, there was an introduction of this belief that some people were better than other people. And that belief was passed down, and it was enforced by violence. And through violence, it was passed down from one generation to another. And a lot of us question our worthiness. We question whether we are worthy of love and of abundance and of having our dreams come true. We really question that. But that comes from the history, that comes from somebody introducing this crazy idea that we would have to prove our worthiness. So a lot of us, if you look here at the bottom, we carry a lot of shame. And we were taught how to survive that. And so a lot of us are now having to become aware of that. And then we get to choose it and to change it and to transform it, to release it, and for us to remember an incredibly important teaching. One of the teachings that my friend James Vokalich shared with me is this idea that you exist because you're connected. A lot of us always ask, why am I here? Why? But as James reminded me in his teaching of the 7 generations, we exist as all of creation does. We exist just like a tree exists. We exist because we're meant to be here. And we're not supposed to be trying to prove that we are worthy to be here. We're as natural as all of creation. This idea that we had to work to be here, or that we had to prove that we deserved certain things, that I don't know where that comes from, but it's not how we were intended to understand ourselves. So I like this teaching that James shared with me, because it helped remind me that instead of asking why, that we can begin to just accept that we exist as all of creation. And now the more important question is, well, then how do we exist, and how do we move through this world? And as Indigenous people, healing wasn't something you did once in a while. Healing was an entire way of life, because we understood that the human being was one of the parts of creation that had 4 bodies. We have a mental body, a spiritual body, an emotional body, and a physical body. That's what makes up our physical form. And these 4 bodies, which are also elemental, we have to learn how to work with them and how they work together and how to sustain balance in order for us to be well and to live a good life here. And so our grandparents were so intelligent. They created a way of life. They created teachings and ceremonies that were focused on helping the human being travel through this life experience. And if you're going to be human, there's going to be some positive and some negative experiences, but they're both there to help you learn. So it wasn't about pushing away the darkness or the negativity or the heavy stuff, but it was learning about how you work as a human being, just as any part of creation. How do you work, and how are you going to walk through this world knowing that both experiences are going to exist? And so we created a beautiful way of life to be able to sustain balance, or to bring the person back to a state of balance once they've gone through those experiences. And the only true teacher is life itself. And so here's the most important selfie that you're going to take today. And this beautiful picture is one example of how my people understand who you really are. And Yoda, if you ever watch Star Wars, Yoda says it too. You're not this crude matter, but this luminous being. So when you come into the human form, you can often forget that there is a presence or a spirit, or some people call it a light. Other people call it consciousness. And sometimes we can call it energy, but there is a part of you. That's why I carry a spirit name, the little bird that stands at the top of the tree. It's describing my true essence, my spirit. So this luminous light is who you really are. And if there's any science teachers listening to me, you can't kill energy. The only thing that you can do is transform it. And this beautiful light has no gender. So it's completely fluid, it's conscious, it's expressive, and it's the same life force that exists in all of the natural world. And so your essence as a human being is to be able to change. Like energy, you can change. What that means is you can heal yourself continuously as you journey through life, and you don't have to be afraid. So my people call this beautiful light, it's the name for the human being, the original person. And what we say is Ku Winak. And Ku refers to this light. Winak refers to the eternal or wholeness of who you are. So you're always whole. You're always complete. That's why you never have to prove your worthiness. But this beautiful eternal light of who you are, it comes into a physical form. It comes into a physical structure in order to have a human experience. And when it comes into a physical structure, the teacher is our mother. Our mother, the earth, is our number one teacher that's helping us understand how to work our body, how to work our human suit. Just like you need a spacesuit to be in space, you need a human body to be here. And so you need to know how to work the wholeness, all of who you are. And our mother has a fire body, an air body, a water body, and an earth body. And these four elements allow our mother to bring new life into existence. Right now, we're heading into spring, and our beautiful mother is going to show us how she brings new life. And what do you need for the flowers and the food to grow? You need fire, air, water, earth. And so you yourself also have a fire body, an air body, a water body, and an earth body. That's what makes up your physical form. And these four elements are on purpose because they're there to help you learn how to change. So if you look at emotions, which is what most people struggle with, if you look at it, there's all these names that we use to describe this energy that's in motion inside of us. But if you were to take away those titles, it just becomes energy. Some of it's heavy, some of it's light. But your body, you start to realize there's this energy moving through me. You can call it sadness, but it's just heavy energy. And your body's holding it, and your body is capable, the earth, of who you are, capable of changing it and transforming it or metabolizing it. Just like our mother's body is able to transform decay or things that are no longer necessary and bring new life. So your thoughts and emotions, your negative feelings and negative thoughts, they're just energy that's really heavy. But we have to relearn how to use our elemental body, the wholeness of who we are, not just our mind, to be able to change what's happening inside of us. And those four elements also let us bring new life and create a new state inside of us, a new way of being. And so you begin to realize something pretty incredible once you begin to practice this. You realize that the heart of the sky and the heart of the earth, they come into unity in you. And there's a little spark, a light of who you are that's always going to be there. And it's connected to everything. And then life gets exciting because you begin to realize that you exist because you are connected to everything that is. And you're meant to be here because the unique spirit of who you are came to express itself in a unique way. And once you begin to understand that, you begin to understand what Indigenous people are referring to when we say that we are connected and in relationship to everything that surrounds us. But once again, I remind you to really have human holistic wellness. To achieve that for all human beings, Indigenous sovereignty is necessary, because all of us will begin to return to our first teacher, the mother and the natural world and creation, who was always intended to show us how we are to move in this world. And in order to do that and be in good relationship with our mother, with creation, Indigenous people who carry the songs, the stories, the language, are the ones that are going to help that process. So Indigenous sovereignty, land back is essential to our overall well-being. So I extend my gratitude for the opportunity to come share a few words with you this afternoon. And I hope that we were able to make a connection between what's happening to us as human beings and what's happening to the natural world. And it's time now to come home and to build that relationship with the wholeness of who we are as highly creative, highly spiritual beings. So, Chiklah Koba, Ushentiosh Teyet. Thank you so much, and I wish you a good day.
Thank you, Maria, for the land acknowledgement and sharing with us such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece that really moves beyond the mind and hits the heart. Gracias. I wish to now invite Sofia Luna Baeza and Margarita Coronado Pascual, students from Calico Public School, who will read the poem Somos by Ruben Esquera.
Hello everyone again. My name is Sofia and this is Margarita.
We're saying a poem by Ruben Esquera llamado Somos.
Tierra con gente, gente sin tierra, la luna y sol, una sola bandera, peace and love, riqueza y pureza, arte, cultura, resistencia, gozadera. Somos, we are, musicians, writers, artistas, bailadores,
Poetas que le dan la vuelta a sus dolores.
the brush strokes of those who paved the life in our rainforest, resources that guard the world, water and oxygen for us.
The diversity of birds flying free through political borders.
A hemisphere so vast, just follow these words and you'll notice.
The vision of
Simón Bolívar,
the fate of
Archbishop Romero, Celia Cruz and Rey Barreto, Las Madres de la Plaza de Mayo, the songs of Victor Jara, taking a tragedy blowing hope through his guitarra, the pen of Gabriel Garcia Marquez, using one word to paint 1,000 pictures, the refrains upon the city walls, the stars behind Mayan scriptures, the immortal words of Che Guevara, the heart of Rigoberta Menchú, sculpting peace in Guatemala. Dreamers who visualize a better tomorrow, who won't slow down or stop because of sorrow, interpreting our hardship, doing it creatively. Artists positively manifesting energy, what you see on the surface and much more. Cultura es sabor straight at you from the core.
Gracias, Sofia y Margarita, for that lovely read. I loved it. Next, we have an exciting performance by Ruben Esquera, known as Benny, who is a Juno Award-winning Canadian artist based in Toronto.
Thank you, Sofia and Margarita, for interpreting that piece. When I say one dish, I want you to say one spoon, one dish. One dish, one spoon. There never could be world peace if all the war on the soil does not cease, but instead we're quick to cock it and squeeze. Yes, the field is the dish we must peacefully shield. If we damage the whole field, it won't yield herbs that heal. It's time to mend the bond between the new school and the old. And so the story of a new tradition will be told. Systemic forces tell us to dig more oil and gold, but indigenous worldview tells us to dig no more. Just analyze, look for the truth. You shouldn't ignore your heart. The exploitation of our mother was wrong from the start. Eyes of our great-grandchildren look up at us from the earth. So let's walk carefully, don't stomp on the things they deserve. Remember that, or write it down. Our elders never die, as long as their stories live on and their dreams stay alive. So when you're standing on the streets like Ishpadina and downtown Toronto, make sure you know which peace treaty you're with. All these land acknowledgements become trivial if we don't make learning where we stand a daily ritual. One dish, one spoon. One dish, one spoon. Peace and much love, everyone. My name is Ruben Benias Guerra, and I want to send a special shout out to the Latin America Heritage Committee for putting this together, and also to everybody who's watching. Please make some noise for yourselves. This next piece that I'm going to do is from my Juno-nominated album, which was recently nominated for the 2022 Juno Awards. And it's a call for environmental healing. Our healing is directly tied to the Earth's healing. For every illness that exists in the world, there is an herb, there is a medicine to counter that illness. And this piece is called Let the Rain Fall, which I wrote 2 years ago when there were forest fires that were ripping through the Amazon, in Australia, in the Congo, as a result of deforestation. So the piece is called Let the Rain Fall. Pray for the water so we're healing tomorrow. Let it drip down and wash away the sorrow. Flood the flames that got us feeling hollow. It's burning my lungs, making it hard to swallow. Drowning in the fire that's killing the jungle. Stumble across the land as it starts to crumble. Squeeze the clouds and let the thunder rumble. Hear the storm come together like a million-piece puzzle. Feel the sky drip down till it soaks in the dirt. Make Mother Earth muddy and take away the hurt. Give thanks to the tribes that have put in work to keep things sacred. They know what it's worth. Let the Amazon feel free and heal from the pain. Squeeze the corporate monster and the grip of shame. When the world goes dry and there's nothing to gain, we listen to the drum as we dance for the rain. We listen. Listen, listen. Listen to the drum as we dance for the rain. We listen. Lo que usted escucha no es radionovela, y este fuego no viene de vela, este humo no huele a somerio, es el blanco destruyendo el suelo y no va a prender, no se va a saciar, todo lo que ve lo destruirá, pero va a perder, todo perderá y le va a doler y lo llorará. Este es un canto para que llueva, para que vuelva a regar la tierra, para que vuelva a brotar la semilla y aprendamos de lo que germina, que nos dé abundancia, que nos dé equilibrio, que nos llueve adentro para andar más limpios, que se ordene el fuego y danzar tranquilos y los elementos vuelvan a su sitio. Listen, listen to the drum as we dance for the rain. Listen, 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 listen to the drum. aguacero, que llueva. This is the time to heal. Time to end all the beefing. It's the 2020s. See the vision clearing. Looked up at the skies, two twos, I saw life's meaning, found love, peace, and unity, unhousy, quarantining. Time to leave all the hate behind. Time to fix this broken home, saw the world inside of my mic, while rhyming in my room alone. Down is up, north is south, when you're laying in a casket hole. Time to bring the block together, joining forces, breaking borders is the goal. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. My name is Benny Esguerra, representing New Tradition Music. You could find me at newtraditionmusic.com, on all social media platforms, also New Tradition Music. Google New Tradition Music, Spotify, YouTube, New Tradition Music. Muchas gracias. Have a blessed day. Peace and much love.
Muchas gracias, Betty. That was an amazing performance. I know we on our end were dancing a little bit. So gracias. Now we are honored to have Chantal, all the way from Peru. She is a Canadian-Peruvian singer and songwriter. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? I'm sure you guys are just pumped up, a lot of energy. I'm so grateful to be invited and to be with all of you today. I feel blessed. I am a student. I went to Westview and it was in Jane and Finch, and it was the best times of my life. My name is Chantal Young Oneto. I was born in Toronto, Canada, and I was raised in Peru. Then when I was 10 years old, I went back to Canada, and I was able to live with my dad. My grandparents had raised me in Peru alongside my mother. And when I came to Canada, I lived with a stepmother and a stepsister. I did not know the language. I did not know that English that well. But I remember it was 1987, and the movie La Bamba was a hit. And I remember that connection with music and people at that moment. I may not have known the language, but I knew. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba, se necesita una poca de gracia. That connected me to everybody, even though I did not know the language. I realized then that music was such a part of my life. Yes, my grandparents, Lucho Macedo, my father, musicians, my aunts, my uncle, musicians, singers, actors, it was all around me. The television, my grandfather made the first television show in Peru. I had learned a lot, but nothing like being in Canada, having such a hard time, is when I knew that music saved my life. I remember not understanding the words, but listening to Whitney Houston. The sound of her voice was like a hug to me. The vibration that I felt healed me in some way or another. Now that I hear our sister Maria talk about vibrations, talk about how we can heal ourselves, I now know so much better about that. Listening to Benny talk about how we have medicine to heal us from everything that is going on. The connection to the earth, our whole energy. Once again, for me, music was what saved my life. When I moved to Jane and Finch, everybody around me said, "Oh my gosh, Chantal, it's a rough area. You know, maybe family wasn't too happy about that." But I can't lie that it was the best time I had. People ask me, who are my idols? And I say that my idols were always the people around me. My family, great talents. My friends, I grew up with greats like Luther Brown, Julie Black, Melanie Durant. I was blessed enough to be chosen by Salome Bay to be part of something amazing where she was able to join schools and make something musical at the O'Keefe Center. I remember it was called the O'Keefe Center. She was able to make me understand that music was truly the universal language. It was something for me to heal from everything that I might have been going on around at that time. After that, Salome Bay asked me to audition in one of her many musicals called Rainbow World. I was able to meet Saida, her daughter, who now is Sate, and music just took over my life. We didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have the money that I needed to go to university or college, but I was blessed enough to audition at different, off-Broadway stuff in New York, or little groups of people, talented people that got together and basically just made music. Not just in Canada, but in New York. It wasn't easy at all for me. And I want to give thanks to the Toronto District School Board, because we can never, ever take music out of the schools or anything that has to do with art. It's healing. It's what we need. Now, I have a school in Peru. It's been 10 years that I have this school in Peru. It's a music school. And what we do is we teach music, the technical part, but also the spiritual part. I later found out through studying music on my own and just admiring so many people. And now these last years, we have chakras, 7 chakras. Each chakra has a musical note. Each chakra gets filled up, with that bad energy, and it blocks us. It blocks that spiritual being that we are, and it doesn't allow us to live to our fullest. And music has allowed me to heal myself with the vibrations that I need to give each chakra to align myself. Now I'm teaching others to do that through music, through singing. And I just want to say, if you want to sing, if you want to dance, if you want to act, do it, because it will be your medicine. Do what you love. I know there's many kids out there, adults that still have dreams. I still have a dream, and I'm still going for my dreams. But music, it has been something that has saved my life. I want to share with you some of the important things about singing. Endorphins are released when we sing, which helps promote positive feelings. This is especially true when we sing with other people. Group singing also induces the production of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This can reduce stress, anxiety, and increase feelings of trust and well-being. Do you have a singing program in your school? Do you have a choir around your neighborhood, in your community? Join a choir. Be able to release, sing, and heal through singing. There's an important truth. When we allow ourselves the joy of self-expression through our voices, it awakens parts of us that may have been dormant or neglected our entire lives. We gain access to a deep inner wisdom, and with this wisdom comes transformative power. Music moves us, heals us, and allows us to understand who we truly are. A study published in the Journal of Music Therapy in 2004 confirms that singing helps people cope with chronic pain. Singing is considered an aerobic activity because of the amount of oxygen that is delivered to the brain. Many of my voice students report feelings of invigoration, euphoria, and even bliss after their lessons. It is so important. Singing is used to treat neurological issues including stuttering, Parkinson's disease, acquired brain injury, and even autism. So let's put more singing, more life into our schools, into our communities. Join a dance class, sing with Benny, learn more with Maria. our past is so important to also know where we're going, like Maria says, or you stop the suffering or it continues through generations and generations. Through music and our voices, we can heal, we can vibrate. I can't wait to go back to Canada and be able to share all of this with you and be able to make more people sing, make people love music and learn that we don't need other types of medicine. The medicine we got right here. We can do this. And I like to share a song that I wrote a couple of years ago to remind me that music will always be there, that the hard times will always be there, but we have the elements, we have las herramientas, tenemos las herramientas para salir adelante, para seguir creciendo. Si tú quieres aprender el español, en tu casa hablan español, quizás, I was one of those people that I was never Latina enough for the Latinos or Canadian enough for the Canadians. It doesn't matter. I am me. I found me through music. I still explore through music. But what I do know is that music made me happy. It healed me. And music also came with me in my sad times, in my happy times, in my great times. So don't ever escape from music. Use music as a healing tool. And I'm sure that everything will work out right. Once again, my name is Chantal and I want to sing this song. It's called Tienes que brillar. You just have to shine. Every day we get up and it's our choice. It's our responsibility to be happy, to share love. Through music, I share love. Through my voice, I want to share good vibes. And it's something that you all could do, we all could do to change the world. We just need to do a little bit and it'll be right there, Just share that good vibe. Put music on, but better than ever, just sing and vibe and vibra. I have a school called Escuela Divas if you want to check it out, or @Shanti's World on Instagram. And this song is called Tienes que brillar.
En medio de la tormenta, la lluvia empieza a caer. Y aquel mal que se te acerca, te tienes que proteger. La vida te da altos y bajos, tienes que creer en ti. Permitido caer, hay que levantarse, es hora de ser feliz. Si te firmes hasta el final, sin temor a fracasar, no será fácil, no te rindas, nunca dejes de soñar. Nada podrá parar tus ganas de luchar, porque tú tienes que brillar. Oh, 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 tienes que brillar. Oh, 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 oh. En la oscuridad, una estrella más tengo que alcanzar. Vuelvo a comenzar. El fracaso es tu oportunidad. Sigue firme hasta el final, sin temor a fracasar. No será fácil, no te rindas, nunca dejes de soñar. Nada podrá parar tus ganas de luchar, porque tú tienes que brillar. Tienes que brillar. Come on, I want everybody to get up right now and come on, you're at school, wherever you are, come on. Hey, vive mi ritmo, de aquí no te para nada ni nadie. Vive mi ritmo, y nunca mires hacia atrás. Vive mi ritmo, no hay barreras ni dificultades. Mi ritmo, solo tienes que confiar. Tienes que brillar.
All right, bring out your diva. You're all divas and divos. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias, Chantal. Thank you so much for that amazing performance and those amazing, amazing words. Next, we invite Alexander Brown, the chair of the Toronto District School Board, to share some remarks via video.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the virtual launch of Latin America History Month. My name is Alexander Brown, and I'm the chair of the Toronto District School Board and the trustee for Ward 12, Willowdale. Thank you for inviting me today, and thank you as well to the Planning Committee for once again bringing us all together to celebrate the many achievements and contributions of Latin Americans. We are proud to recognize Heritage and History Months that embrace our diverse communities at the Toronto District School Board. It's important that we can engage with each other, and these months provide our students and the rest of us with the opportunity to learn about the people and cultures that we see every day. It's the perfect time to share stories and host events, just like today, that embrace diversity, equity, and the best parts of humanity. These months also provide additional tools and resources to support equitable and inclusive teaching practices in our classrooms. This month, we are proud to recognize Latin America History Month. This heritage includes people from more than 21 different countries and represents over 500 different languages spoken in our communities, including Indigenous and African languages such as Kuna and Garifuna. Across the board, our schools are home to more than 5,000 Latin American students. In the late 1970s, Latin American immigrants began arriving in Toronto. Specifically, many of them settled in the Kensington Market area, which has long been known as a neighborhood for newcomers. At the time, immigrants were drawn to Canada because it offered better economic opportunities and political representation than their native countries. In a decade, our country's Latin American community quickly grew from 3,000 to more than 68,000 people. Today, Latin American Canadians continue to make major contributions to politics, military, music, sport, and business, and are known for developing St. Clair as a Latin American hub for organizations and activities. Through school and community initiatives and events, our students and staff will explore the theme of decolonizing, Latin America History Month and beyond, learning about our collective pasts through the art of healing. I also encourage you to view the web story on tdsb.on.ca to learn more about these activities and how you can participate. And although April is Latin America History Month, I encourage you to always celebrate the diverse people and cultures of our vibrant communities. To close, I want to thank all staff, students, and community members who volunteered their time to organize this annual event. Thank you so much, and enjoy.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. We now invite Colleen Russell Rollins, Director of Education at the TDSB, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy to join you and many members of the TDSB community to celebrate Latin America History Month with you. Thank you, Maria, for so generously sharing yourself with us today. The inspiration you offered us will cause us to reflect in our hearts, our minds, and our bodies on our relationships with Indigenous peoples, the land, ourselves, and each other. The Latin America History Month program is an opportunity to celebrate with joy as Benny and Chantal, and feel pride as Sophia and Margarita and Chantal shared with us today in the different identities within the community. It is a chance to talk about different cultures and to affirm individual and collective experiences within the Latin America communities. One of the primary strategies of this month, as identified by the committee, is to disrupt the conception of who Latinx is and provide opportunities to understand the Latinx heritage. This month's program offers a wide variety of workshops to celebrate and highlight the diversity, including a workshop on cross-cultural understanding of Afro-Indigenous Colombian music, as well as a career panel for secondary students to learn from a number of accomplished Latinx individuals sharing their experiences to achieve success in their chosen field. Throughout the month, students will also learn about the connections to Indigenous sovereignty and solidarity with other BIPOC communities within Turtle Island to uplift and highlight key elements of decolonizing education in Latin America. Thank you to the committee for your intentional and important leadership for creating spaces of affirmation, healing, and learning. Thank you for bringing to life the large and growing community of individuals who identify as Latinx in TDSB and beyond. I wish all students, staff, and community members a wonderful month filled with learning, healing, and celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Russell-Rollins. I wish to invite Ms. Aviles, the chair of the Latin American History Month Planning Committee, to share with us details on upcoming initiatives for the month and the result of the art contest. Thank you.
Okay, super. Muchas gracias, Jared. Hola a todos. So I'm just going to share with everyone, again, as Jared had mentioned, some of the initiatives that have already started taking place and will continue to take place through the month of Abril. Okay, so primero, entonces, so as had been shared with the TDSB and Jared had mentioned, we had the Creative Arts Contest. The objective of this was to invite all TDSB students to submit a creative art piece that reflects on this year's theme of decolonizing Latin America, History Month and beyond, learning about our collective past to the art of healing. So submissions of creative art, they included all forms of expression such as painting, drawing, architecture, sculptures, literature, music, performance, such as spoken word, poetry, dance, and etc. And so for the first category, grades K through 2, this was a submission that we received. Very lovely, which is called Wings of Change, Together We Fly. This was actually incredible because it was actually done by a whole school. And specifically, it's a school-wide art collage inspired by Tony Capellan and Earth Day by West Humber Junior Middle School. And so what they did was, so these wings were created as a collaboration from kindergarten to grade 8. They represent rebirth, like the rising of a phoenix from the ashes. The ashes are represented by recycled items that are reborn into art. These students were then invited to lay down in the center of the wings to take a photo with their creation. And the idea of this piece of artwork originated from an Afro-Latino artist, again, Tony Capellan. And so this is, again, what they created as a representation of decolonization, hope, and change. And for this category, the winner is, yay, they are the winners. Felicitaciones. Okay, for the next category, I'm just going to go through so that you can see all of the incredible submissions, very talented students. And the winner is Annabelle Joji. And so this is what the student created. And again, all of them were very talented, creative pieces. This is the one that was selected as it connected very well and resonated with the theme. For the third category, grades 6 through 12, these were these incredibly talented submissions and very impressive. We were in complete awe, and it was not easy to pick at all. And this is the winner, Kendall Romani Andrew. As you can see, all of them are very talented, and this is the one though that we selected for this category that resonated the most and connected the most with the theme. These students, if they were not able to be present, they will be contacted via email so that they can be aware that they were selected as the winners for the categories. But all of the students, I know that we say this a lot as teachers, but really they are all winners. Their time and effort they put into this is incredible, and we are so grateful that they participated in this. Now, other upcoming events. So we will have a career panelist on April 12th at 12:30. This is for secondary students. It is a live stream event of professionals in the Latinx GTA community that will be answering questions about their careers. In addition, and connected to the theme of this year's events, the impact the arts have had in their lives. The elementary workshop as well. Now this one, because it was so popular, the spots for this one have already been filled. This will take place on April 19th, 2 separate times on the same day for these various grades. It is a cross-cultural understanding of Afro-Indigenous Colombian music offered by Ruben Beni Esguerra, the performer that we had just earlier today. Phenomenal performance from new tradition music. And lastly, in addition to this, we will also have another secondary workshop for grades 9 through 12 on April 26th. This workshop is called Boom, a workshop that explores finding the personal in a world that constantly tries to force us into a monolith. Playwright, actor, and photographer, very, very talented, Issy Bakoman will take us through their practice of wellness by dissecting 3 projects that are giving them the space to prioritize healing. So lastly, if you would like to find out more about these events, you can go to the TDSB public site, scroll down to news. Also, you can go to this link here. If you look on their site, there is a link to go to the calendar, and it will have there all of the events taking place. You can also email me and Diane Carnavale if you have any other questions. Also, direct line, which is for the TDSB members and teachers as well. You can also access this information through there. Okay, muchas gracias. Jared, over to you.
Okay, gracias, Mr. Vilas. I also want to apologize for the band. It seems like everybody loves music today. I would like to now invite Jim Spiropoulos, the Executive Superintendent, Human Rights and Indigenous Education and Executive Team Lead, Latin American History Month. Thank you.
Thanks a million, Jared. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Latin America History Month. Elder Maria Montejo, Atlohon Itzat. Thank you for your inspirational opening, for your guidance, but mostly for your great spirit. Thank you for always being there for us, not just to open a month or during the April celebrations, but every single time that we've reached out to you for your support and for your wisdom. You've been there, and I thank you for that. Thank you to all the staff and students who took the time out of their day to join today. And especially my deepest gratitude to the staff who are on, school-based staff especially, as you continue to do amazing work in the most challenging and difficult of circumstances. We see you and we appreciate you. Benny and Chantal, you guys are the truth. I've told you that before. Chantal, can't wait for you to come home. Benny, I've always said that the first time you got nominated for a Juno in 2018, the selectors made the wrong choice, but they have a chance again to make the right one on May 15th because you've been nominated along with New Tradition for your second Juno. And we're looking forward to you bringing home the trophy this year, May 15th, down at the amphitheater. Best of luck to you, and thank you to both of you and to everyone who presented today as we've moved through our launch. And finally, to the planning committee, to the amazing planning committee, and to Danny, you guys have done an absolutely fantastic job. Your commitment to the work is a testament and a tribute to your identity, to those with whom you share an identity, and to so many of us who have learning to do related to your identities. Thank you. We appreciate the many, many hours that have gone into your work. And to everyone, best wishes for a fantabulous month. We're looking forward to it, and please join as often as you can as we continue to learn more. Thanks a million, Jared and everyone.
Thank you so much. This concludes our Latin American History Month launch. We would like to thank everybody and all the guest speakers and performances for helping us kick off this amazing celebration. We hope to see you all soon at upcoming events. Adios y gracias.
Yes, gracias.
Adiós.